Being Black in America comes with its challenges. However, we understand that enlightenment through education is the oppressor's worst fear. By bridging the gap between academia and the people, our purpose is to equip you with knowledge that breaks down barriers during your journey towards truth and freedom. Welcome to the Black and Highly Dangerous Podcast.
Yeah, Daph, what's going on? What's going on? How's your week been?
My week was pretty good. I had a little breakthrough with my dissertation writing. I finally know what's happening.
That's good.
So I feel pretty good.
The breakthroughs are always good when they happen.
Yeah. You know how you're right, like you're getting towards something, but you're still trying to figure out the actual story you're trying to tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that happened to me and I finally figured it out. So hopefully writing will be much more smooth this upcoming week.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got to keep working and digging until it just all clicks, and then you'll be all good, be all set.
Yeah. I also been, getting back into running. I've run like quite a few miles this week, trying to become healthy again. So I feel pretty good.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, I've been starting running this month again, which has been good. It's actually been pretty smooth. I haven't been like last time I was running last fall. It was like a big struggle. But this time it's like I'm starting to feel like my old self a little bit with my cardio game. So that's definitely surprising, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes a little minute to, get back in it. And I think just being like showing yourself a little grace and be like, okay, cause I tried to do, what do you call those squats? I tried to squat and I didn't even put the regular 45s. Like a long time ago when I used to work out, I could put 45 plates on both sides and be good. I didn't even do that. I put 25 on both sides and I was like, oh, maybe my workout is done for the day. After that first set, I couldn't do no more. So trying to show myself a little grace.
Yeah. You got to work your way up to build it back up. That's all it is. So healthiness, people. That's what we preaching over here in PhD.
Yes.
Got to stay healthy.
But how you been?
I've been chilling, other than the health stuff. Start classes this week. So when this episode airs, I'll be well into the middle of the week, my first week of classes. So y'all pray for me, trying to get back into the swing of things. Always those first week or two is always just like, all right, like kind of, getting the rust off, after taking the whole summer off, going in between like the fall to spring isn't that bad because you only got a couple weeks off, so you get it right in stride. But that whole summer break and then trying to go back teaching is like, oh man. All right, let me figure out how to do this once again. But that's what I'll be doing this week.
Well, good luck. I'm sure, the week is going to go well. Your students are going to love you. Shout out to Ty. Sending you on your way.
On the way to that tenure. I keep saying that. Yeah, y'all keep praying for that.
Yes. You got to speak it into existence.
Yes. I will have tenure.
You will have tenure.
Spring 2021. We're going to party out when that happens. I'm telling you, we're going to party. That's
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we're going to have like a special BHD event because, the reason that we're able to bring this to you is partly because, Ty got this PhD. He got all that knowledge. So
we probably gonna have a couple big celebrations this year. Daph getting her PhD.
Yes, pray for that.
And me getting a tenure. So y'all pray for some big things happening over here, man.
Yes. Big things popping.
We're gonna have to figure out how to have some fun on these episodes when we do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some Oh Lord news.
All righty. Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome to BHD News, where we give you the most current and eye-opening Oh Lord news of the week. Join us as we present news that'll make you want to say,
Okay, so, over the last month or whatever, we've talked about the ASAP Rocky case.
Yep.
And, he was finally released. And, throughout the time that he was being detained, Trump was tweeting about him, said Melania, brought it to his attention. Well, according to, I guess, two pastors, Daryl Scott and Kareem Lanier, who are Trump surrogates, they also got involved. They got Trump involved, and they were speaking with A$AP Rocky's manager, and their involvement in the case, there was one stipulation, or I don't know if it was a spoken stipulation or unspoken stipulation, but when Rocky got freed, he was supposed to thank Trump. Well, not only has he not thanked Trump, but he stopped answering their phone calls and text messages.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So, I still don't think A$AP Rocky for the people, but I will give him credit for pulling the Mariah Carey, I don't know you.
Yeah. Yo, I see why, because if he came out and said that, that's it. His career taking a big hit. I don't care what he said, because people already questioning him about his past comment, and then now he coming out saying, I just want to thank Trump. Boy, so I could see why he had to do it. His PR team, there was no way he's gonna survive that one, because he barely survived this.
Yeah, he really did, because people were going in. But yeah, if he thanked Trump, it would just be over. But I thought it was funny that, because this is what Trump actually does to people. He make these promises, he does, and then he will ghost you, especially when it comes time for like the payment or the payoff. So it's just funny to see somebody do it to him.
Yeah, I bet they mad too. Like, oh my God, we did all this and he not answering our phone calls. That's hilarious.
Hilarious. Okay, so this other story is kind of wacky and it's kind of scary. So, a lady went to the doctor because she, I guess she felt like she had some water in her ear and it just wouldn't go away. She waited a few days. She was waiting on the water to finally release, but it just never went away. So she goes to the doctor. And a medical assistant looks in her ear, and guess what's in there?
I don't even want to guess what's in there.
A brown recluse spider.
Oh, hell no. Yo. That is wild.
Yes, this happened in Missouri. Oh my God. It just it's making my skin crawl even thinking about
goosebumps.
it. So the medical assistant who looked in the air, thank God she didn't tell the woman that it was a spider. She did say there's like an insect or something in your ear. But for instance, they would have had to sedate me if I went to the doctor and they were like, a spider is in your ear. Oh my God. Luckily it did not bite her or anything because, brown recluse spiders are venomous. So.
Yo, that is, I would have been freaking out. Yo, I'm not even gonna lie. That is wild. How would just get in your ear like that, man?
I guess when she was asleep, it just crawled in. Maybe she went camping. I don't know.
See, that's why I can't be messing with no woods, man. Well, yeah, that's wild, man. That's crazy. I couldn't even imagine what I would do. But yeah, good thing it didn't bite her, especially a poisonous spider in your ear.
Okay, I got kind of two, but I'll do this one and then see if you got some more. So a Jamaican man who actually has a green card to the U.S. was detained for 82 days in jail because officials thought that honey he was bringing back was crystal meth.
What? Okay.
Yes. The crazy part about this is 20 days after his arrest, state labs actually tested the substance and figured out it actually was honey. But this happened during like the government shutdown. So he actually ended up being detained for all of those extra days because the arrest like triggered something with his like green card, which meant he ended up being detained all those extra days. And so I guess he's trying to get remedy now, and that's why this story is out.
But yeah, no, that's crazy. Like the fact that you got detained for 82 days for having some damn honey. Sometimes I hope he gets some kind of like, I guess some payment, some civil case lawsuit settled or something, because that's wild. You lost like almost 3 months of your time for some silly some errors on their part.
He lost his job, and now he's like working like bread delivery or something like that. So hopefully there is some remedy, because 82 days, from December to March, like December 29th to like March 21st. That's a lot of time, and his life was just like kind of turned upside down. So.
So yeah, I had a story as well. In the past bunch of episodes, we talked about something wild black, and this current situation is no different than the others. Actually, most people have, said it's something back into like, the 1950s and pre-civil rights era, because we have a situation while the police were called because essentially it was staring wild black. There's a case in Michigan. Okay, pretty much in Royal Oak, Michigan, a white woman called the police because she said that a black man was looking at her and she felt that it was suspicious. And then the police came and pretty much detained this 20-year-old black man named Devin Myers as he was walking into a cafe, asking him about this situation, and they pretty much said that she's calling us saying you're staring at her, so that's why I'm out here.
Are you serious? Wow.
Yes, so he was detained for pretty much 20 minutes while they were questioning him about why he was looking at this white woman. So again,
what was the conclusion that they came to?
Of course they wind up apologizing. Especially once everything went viral, apologizing, because it was silly. I think, I'm trying to see if they have, but anyway, she pretty much felt uncomfortable that he was looking at her. I think she actually said he approached the car, which he said he didn't do, and all this other kind of stuff. And anyway, she wound up calling the police, and they were responsive, and this, people said this reminds us of this whole, we talk about past situations like Emmett Till and situations like that. Just some simple minor infractions. Here come the police to stop these black men, especially when it comes to their white women. So. Still happening in 2019.
Don't nobody want you, girl.
Exactly. You probably was doing something crazy. Or sometimes if you in maybe you was in a neighborhood you shouldn't have been in, who knows, whatever. People just looking. People just look. It's just natural. Like, like, who is this? What's going on? What kind of car you driving? Could be a lot of things, but come on, you calling the police.
People watch.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Oh, be careful if you're ever in Royal Oaks, Michigan.
I know. Wild black.
Excuse me, officer. This black woman staring at me. That's wild, though.
Well, on to some more serious news, especially because this is nearly like hits home for you. Did you hear about the growing water crisis in Newark?
Yeah, the lead in the water. They've been talking about it all on the news here. It's actually been going on for a while as well, but it's been getting worse. It hasn't been getting better.
Yeah, people have been comparing it to Flint. I read an article that said that the city tested the water in the fall of 2017, and that lead was about 9 parts per billion. It's supposed to be below 15, so they're like, okay, cool. But then the independent lab tested it 14 months later, and it was 27 parts per billion, which is nearly twice the level that it's supposed to be. And in February, it was found to be at 76 part per billion, which is 5 times the EPA action level. So yeah, I read that they're starting to hand out water and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. They are, yeah, water bottles, all that stuff. So it's Very similar to the Flint situation. So they've known about it for a while, and they took mild precautions, but it's like you just reported, it's only been getting worse and worse. So now it's making even more headlines. And so people got to be careful with this. And I haven't been to Newark in a couple of weeks yet, but next time I go out there, I'm going to talk to everybody about this, see how they're handling it, in their day-to-day lives and how it's affecting them and who it's affecting.
It's so great. Like, I don't even drink tap water anymore in just about any city because you just never know, especially living in the Midwest. I feel like there's something with Midwest water. So I don't even drink the water in Peoria. I don't know. This is crazy. You have to be worried about being poisoned by your own government.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Yeah, that Indiana water was something different. I never drank that water, man. When I was out there, that water was like, every time you would use it and like the kind of stains it would leave and like the dishwashers, that was like so super hard. I'm like, y'all not purifying this water as you need to.
Sometimes I would travel, you go away for so many days, you come back, you have to run the water because it initially comes out brown.
Yeah. I did not trust the Indiana water. So yeah, someplace New York. Now I would say New York water, the city water is like, delicious.
Yeah. Massachusetts got good water too.
Okay. I mean, New York, I know New York, they're like, because of what can happen if anything goes awry, how many people it will affect. So like their water system and filtration system is like top of the line. And so every time I drink from their water fountains, it's just like almost like purified, like bottled, delicious water. So don't be afraid of that New York water.
Okay. I would say that at least, I don't know about Boston, but the same thing with Cambridge, Massachusetts. Like, when I was on campus, like they tested it frequently and it was like, oh, we have some of the best water in the country. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, just be careful out here, y'all, because this water be contaminated unless you in somewhere like New York or Massachusetts.
Yeah. And you definitely want to be careful with the kids too. Make sure that they are not consuming a lot of this lead as they're still growing and developing and all that stuff.
It causes irrevocable damage.
Yeah. So be careful if you got kids around, for sure.
Speaking, I guess, of global crisis, the Brazilian fires.
Yeah. Oh, man. This has been a major topic all week. For those of you who don't know, there's been, it says that pretty much the Brazilian Amazon rainforest has been on fire at pretty much 85% higher than normal around this time period. And you've been seeing a lot of images and pictures of like the sky being pitch black dark at like 2 p.m. during the day and smoke covering a lot of land and just covering, you can't even see the sun and all this kind of stuff. And, there's been a lot of narratives going around about it. But what have you heard about the situation, Dad, so far?
Well, I've heard a few things. One, that is something that like the government is actually okay with because they want to clear the lands. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons that I've heard that the lands want to be clear is because Brazil is the world's largest exporter of beef and that they need the land for like beef farming. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've heard too. That's like, I wouldn't say the conspiracy theories, but the speculation as far as why this is being caused. But yeah, that's one of the things, a lot of people are trying to eat less meat, like myself, something I've been on this past year. It's just that what it does to the environment when there's a high demand, then you're going to have people, try to meet that demand and keep making money. And so the thing about beef and stuff like that, cows need a lot of land to graze to stay fed and everything like that. So you need a lot of like flat kind of clear land. And so it actually just that simple fact alone, really destroys a lot of the environment because they try to clear land for that. And so, yes, because they're one of the biggest beef producers, I can see that fitting the narrative of like, oh, we need to set things on fire. I saw another story too of like, essentially a native tribe just kind of won a lawsuit out there against the oil companies because they wanted to pretty much sell their land to dig for oil, and the tribe fought back and they won, and then they said shortly after their land was caught on fire as well. So some people are saying that it might be these business purposes of like trying to push the natives out of that space and destroy their land so they can't live there, and then they can go ahead and just take it anyway to dig for oil. So it's a lot of and they had one of the native women there speaking on it on camera, talking about it in her native tongue, and addressing it. And it's some things like it makes you raise your eyebrows like, oh, you can't really say that this isn't potentially happening. But I also saw, too, that I want people to know this is something that is normal as well. The fact is that, the local farmers and stuff like this time every year set fires to their land because they do it to pretty much clear the land and get it ready for farming. And they always do it during this time of year because it's the driest time to do it. So there's always actually a lot of man-made fires that are controlled during this time period. So when I was reading reports, majority of the fires that are seen are from that, and that's just something that's normally happens as well. So that's something that's not being reported as well. But they're saying the thing is that they're saying it's 85% up. So it's up. It's higher than normal. It normally is. But the thing about it is like these rates are just a little bit higher than they were in 2016. Not much. I think 2016 was like 70,000 fires, something like that, and now it's like 75,000. So last year was really low, but this year, maybe because it was really low last year as well, that this may be cause for the uptick because it was like lower than it has been in the past 6 or 7 years last year. So when it's super low, then maybe next year, we got to farm more land because we didn't do it last year. And so, but anyway, majority of the experts are saying these are just man-made, like kind of normal fires for the farmers.
Oh, okay. It's crazy. I know a lot of people a lot of like European and other countries are starting to step in and be like, if y'all don't get this under control, we're about to cut these deals off.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's we have to tread carefully. I mean, yes, I feel like the listening to the narrative, some people down there, even the president was saying like, hey, they're doing this. Some people are doing this on purpose because his administration has been accused of a lot of corruption. And so some people are saying they're doing this to bring world attention to Brazil and the corruption that's going on as well, not just for like the fires and stuff. Then, like you said, other people are saying the narrative like, hey, this is the cause of us eating beef and eating meat. So if we just eat less beef, we won't have these kind of issues. So who knows? People are trying to fit their narrative, but I just want to throw that out there that this is a normal occurrence every year.
Okay. Well, no, that's cool because I didn't know that. And instead of it being a conspiracy to get more beef out there, this might all just be a conspiracy to get us to stop eating beef because they want to stop eating.
You're right. It could be a lot of things. So.
I'm just playing. But it's like, okay, look at this narrative. All of us like, okay, I'm gonna reduce my meat consumption. I see y'all, activists, environmentalists.
Everybody trying to eat less beef.
Peter, you behind this, Peter?
Let's hop on this real quick. So who knows? But I think it is something we should keep our eye on because one of the major concerns is the pretty much Brazil, the Amazon rainforest is like the heartbeat of our world when it comes to the our just how everything works ecologically and functions. As far as like CO2 emissions, oxygen producing, all this kind of stuff. We definitely got to protect that because it's just helping us overall.
Yeah, they said the Amazon like produces like 20% of the world's like oxygen or something.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. So we need that oxygen, y'all. So y'all can't be playing with that. Let that joint burn down. That needs to be protected. So keep our eyes on it.
But you know what? Speaking of beef, have you seen this fast food beef that's been happening online all week?
The beef about chicken.
Yes, the beef about chicken. And I mean, Chick-fil-A, which cows are their, mascot anyway. Chick-fil-A versus Popeye.
Yeah,
what do you think? Have you even tried it?
Haven't tried it yet because this month I haven't been really in meat for the past year, but every now and then, I'll treat myself. But I had decided this month I have no meat at all, so I haven't tried it yet. But it's a good thing because I've been seeing them long behind lines at Popeyes, so I'm not in no rush to stand in no line, so I don't mind waiting till September.
Okay. Well, see, I haven't had it partly because, I am on this eat right, exercise thing, so it just doesn't fit in my meal plan. But I also heard so they have two versions. They have like a regular one and they have like a spicy one, and the spicy one comes with like some mayo sauce, like spicy mayo. I'm not a big mayo fan. Well, I'm not a fan at all. Like, I just don't want it. So it's just, I question whether I'll even really like it like that, because I'm not getting the gloriousness that everybody says is related to this sauce. So.
Yeah. People have been questioning the mayo stuff. I mean, people have said it's good from the reactions. But it's like, when you look at the calories, it's like 700, 800 calories. It's a lot of calories. Oh, wow. And, I think a Chick-fil-A, I think a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is just like 400 calories. So, I mean, it's just essentially like the amount of calories, almost like two Chick-fil-A sandwiches for that one Popeyes. So you already know, it's probably good because it got all the bad stuff in it. But yeah, I mean, this has been a craze, and I think one of the biggest things has been the free advertising that Popeyes has been getting because of this.
All of this has been word of mouth. Because I'll be honest, although I did not try it, I looked at multiple videos where people were doing the taste test because they were just so hilarious. And it got me into like debates with John about like, could this sandwich really be that good? He's like, I don't believe it. And I was like, I'm going to go get you one just to prove, like, I'm like, all these people can't be lying. And so it's just, that's how like this sparked. It said it got like $23 million worth of free advertisement just from the social media hype.
Yeah. I mean, it's, what was it called? Whatever company, Apex Marketing, I guess they tracked those things and they said, because of the social media, they pretty much got, you said initially 23 million. And I think now it's up to like 40 million.
Oh, wow. Dang.
Of free advertising because of the social media and the mentions, which is just like insane, and it shows like the power of social media, man. Just like, and Black Twitter, man. I mean, Black Twitter was the one that started it.
They really did. Like, I saw somebody was like, Chick-fil-A is like that, a old white lady named Sarah that know how to cook. She done learned from the black folks, so she know how to cook a little bit. But, Chick-fil-A sandwich, Medea made that. Like, just like these crazy comparisons. I've been seeing like the picture meme. Somebody said that Popeyes was Future and Chick-fil-A was Russell, Sierra's husband.
Oh yeah, Russell Wilson. Yeah.
Just all types of crazy stuff. So, I will eventually try it.
Yeah, I've seen other memes too with the chicken. Like, I seen McDonald's post a picture of their chicken and somebody was like, y'all will be back when y'all broke.
Yeah. Oh my God. I saw that.
And then what was the one, oh my God, the one chicken sandwich everybody was just roasting, talking about look ashy.
I don't know. Maybe
Wendy's.
My God. Because Wendy's tried to get into it.
It wasn't Wendy's. It was like, Bojangles. It was Bojangles. Okay. They put out their chicken sandwich.
I actually heard that they little chicken biscuit is $5.
I actually tried it because I never had it, and I think one time me and Chris was in the airport and we tried I tried a Chick-fil-A side by side with the Bojangles. Just to like see what the hype was about. And I wasn't, the Bojangles biscuit was a little too dry for me.
Okay.
A little too dry for me. But the chicken was a little juicier, and, but yeah, the biscuit wasn't popping, in my opinion.
I feel another reason that this is popping is because I feel like people have been trying to find a reason to not go to Chick-fil-A. I feel like that it's the one company that people know like they feel guilty about eating it because of like their political stances and because of what they financially support. So people still eat it, but I think they feel guilty. And I feel like people have been looking for somebody to step in to like say, I don't have to go to Chick-fil-A anymore.
Yeah. That's probably a part of it, man. Because Chick-fil-A, their politics, just makes you torn inside. Like, oh my God. And then you go there and their service is great. It's just like, y'all need to fix your politics, man. But that's what keeps them in business.
Mm-hmm. I will say I was somebody that used to eat Chick-fil-A just about every day of the week. And, it is just an occasional thing now. I can't honestly say that. And that's big for me because I was addicted to Chick-fil-A. Like I could eat one of those salads every damn day of the week.
Yeah, they got good food, man.
And they got mac and cheese now. I haven't tried
they got
it.
Mac and cheese?
Yeah.
I haven't tried that.
Yeah, it's new. But I haven't been there to try it though, y'all. I make my own Big Mama mac and cheese. I guess, do we want to get on the topic of politics?
Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and get some politics, because Sir Trump has been out here bugging lately. But what else is new? What else is new? I guess one of the first things that came about early last week was his vow or his, I don't know if it was a vow, but his claim that he was going to abolish birthright citizenship. Which essentially, for those of you who do not know, that birthright citizenship stuff is pretty much that if your parents weren't born here, they brought you here, you were born here, even though they were immigrants or undocumented, etc., that you would have automatic American citizenship, which is a constitutional right. And Trump said that he is going to remove that or work to remove that. And he just said it's simply, frankly, ridiculous.
And he's going to do it through an executive action.
Executive order, executive action.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about this way back in the beginning of the podcast when we talked about all the executive orders that he was trying to do. And what y'all need to know is that these executive orders don't really do much. It's pretty much just him signing it saying, this is what I would like to see happen. This is what I approve of. But it is not law. It does not sign it into law. It does not make it happen. And even many experts have come out and said, Trump, you're bugging. This ain't happening.
Yeah. I mean, his own wife is an immigrant. Like, this is like ridiculous at this point. It really is. And I don't know. I feel like he does these things to like detract from like what's actually going on because in addition to that, it's been a lot going on with the economy and him. Didn't he say something about like because of like the tariff situation with China, there's going to be like a 5% like increase on like goods, I think coming from there.
Yeah.
Just in time for Christmas.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, in the stock market, after he made these comments and those tweets, like it took a plummet. People were selling a lot of their shares because of the things he was saying. And go ahead.
I was about to say, I actually read an article that said that if we have a recession, it's like Trump's own doing. Like we did not have to have it, but because of like these trade wars and stuff like that, he is actually pushing us in that direction.
Yeah, it's getting wild. And I really hope that a lot of these countries are just seeing that an election is around the corner, and then hopefully they can just hold off a little bit, not go like too extreme in a response to Trump, and at least wait to see if we can get this man out of office. Because it's a lot of craziness he's doing, and of course he's upsetting a lot of people in other countries, and I think that I feel like if he gets reelected, then it's gonna be a wrap, because these countries, whoever, like China, other folks, are not gonna take another 4 years of his nonsense, and then it will literally be a trade war and tariff wars and all this other kind of stuff. But hopefully they can just be a little patient, because it's about to be wild if it goes down the way Trump trying to make it go down. That's the thing, like you say, he's forcing this.
Yeah,
it's not even like people are really trying to beef with us. It's him poking the bear.
And it's so interesting to me that he's doing this because He's been bragging about the strong economy, and his supporters also see the economy as strong, which is a positive for him going into 2020. But yet he's doing this. And he actually kind of said, I think, to some, supporters or surrogates, like, if it happens, it'll just be a short one. And it's kind of like saying, like, it's like necessary. It's kind of like, I don't know. Just kind of like it's unavoidable. We have to do this, I guess stand our ground type of thing. So I don't know. He cray though.
And then Trump say something about some anti-Semitic something or other. I saw that in the headlines, and that kind of pissed off a lot of people from the Jewish community as well.
Oh, you know what? I know exactly what you're talking about. He said something. It was almost like to the extent that, like, if they weren't supporting him, that it was like anti-Israel.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. And one of his like little quick talks before he gets on a helicopter or something like that. Most of the time when he says the crazy things, they like catch him. And he'd be out there talking wild. But yeah, that's exactly what it was. He was talking about, they're anti-Israel if they support Democrats.
Yeah, and that because I guess he's the biggest Israel supporter. I don't know.
Yeah, it's got Trump. Oh man, but I mean, I saw a report that from I don't know if the guy is at Harvard or somewhere, I don't know, a psychiatrist who's pretty much saying that the signs he's seeing of Trump is definitely some sign of like mental illness, of his like mental state deteriorating, and that we all need to pay particular attention, like the language of his mannerisms is not healthy, of like a healthy mind. I don't think which surprises anybody, but this past week or so, it seems like he is like losing himself. Something is going on.
It's escalating, and it's fairly scary. I think there's the 25th Amendment of the Constitution. Is it related to like fitness for like the presidency?
Yeah.
I feel like somebody needs to invoke that.
Yeah, I've seen that on like, I don't know what show. I've seen that on a show or two before. Like, they get the president out because of that, like unfit for duty kind of thing.
Yeah.
And somebody does need to do this and have this man sit down with like a psychiatrist and be like, yo, can this man handle his job? Because he is wilding out. And the thing about it, he say these crazy things and then he always comes back and like backtracks, and that's because his team probably like, yo, but you wilding, we can't do this. So he always comes back and backtracks. So we'll see. He's also been backtracking on his like gun control rhetoric after the shootings as well. So
yeah,
not surprising there as well. We don't know.
I saw someone online suggest that the best way to get the GOP to initiate gun control legislation is if all the black people go and start buying up firearms.
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't surprise me.
That they would definitely respond with some type of action.
I mean, that's when we talked about it before, when we talked about gun control in the podcast, is that, initially that was the first steps when the Black Panther Party started getting arms in California, and then their government was moving to like put a lot of gun control measures in, but the NRE stepped in and was like, no, because we're all going to be affected if you do that. So that scared the hell out of them, and they was definitely about to change a lot of laws. But then NRA stepped in and it was like, nah. So, I mean, I'm sure if the same thing started happening again, black folks just walking around with guns legally, you bet your bottom dollar, people will be like, oh my God, they don't feel safe just staring, of just looking at them. And they definitely won't feel safe with a gun, on my side.
Black folk with the gun ain't gonna be safe.
It is a very risky thing for them black folk, yes. That only make it more dangerous for us, but yeah, it might get some laws changed. But yeah, I guess on those lines too. Anything else about Trump?
Well, I was about to say, supposedly he has a challenger for the GOP like primary. Somebody's challenging him, but really? It's not serious. It's former Rep. Joe Walsh from Illinois. I don't take that seriously.
Yeah. But it would be interesting if the party just as a whole, just like, we just had other candidates. So Trump actually had to fight for his position.
I think they should do it. I think they're just too afraid to like piss off his extreme right wing base.
Yeah.
But I feel like most of the party is not as right.
Yeah, they're not.
So it's just like, but you know what? One thing that I'm becoming afraid of is that you will have Republicans who are conservative, who are, so on a scale of 1 to 7, with 7 being extremely conservative, they're probably like a 5 or a 6. I'm afraid that the 5 and the 6s are going to start silently leaving and like becoming and running as Democrats and moving the Democratic Party right. So it's kind of like we have the right Democrats and the extreme right Republicans. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. It'll be essentially two conservative parties now.
Yeah. But because one is so crazy, you accept the more normal conservative one. I don't know. That's what I'm starting to get this feeling that that's what's going to happen.
I mean, yeah, because you even have a lot of people who are like, thought Bush was the worst thing and be like, hell, I'll vote for a Bush now, compared to Trump. And so I see it. I see it happen. I mean, I think you're onto something. I really think that if like maybe not a George Bush, but somebody else was running that was just more moderate and reasonable, like,
hell, like a jab.
Yeah. I mean, people be like, yo, okay, I can see. Let's get Trump out of here, and it won't be as bad. It won't be somebody like a Trump, and even like more people, even on the liberal side of things, can swallow and not feel extreme against. So it's something to keep our eye on for sure. But hopefully, and the scary thing is about how all these politics are set up is like, we have somebody like Trump and we can't even get other Republicans to battle him, And it's like, even if it was like the Democratic Party, would that still be the case if we had somebody in there who was just all over the place, super extreme and really not doing anything? We couldn't even put somebody else to challenge this person in that office. That's kind of scary too. It's like, that's not how the system is supposed to be set up, If we feel like is not fit, we should be able to get them out of there, but not have them potentially win another 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Or be afraid of a civil something going on because, I think some of his most extreme supporters are out there.
They're out there. And
over the last couple of weeks, there have been like multiple mass shootings that have been prevented, just because they couldn't keep their mouth shut or something or other. I actually saw, it was a little boy. I saw a video. Police were recording where they were talking to his mother. They were about to arrest. Yeah. She's like, not my baby. He would not do it. He's just a teenager. He just says those things. And the cop was like, look, he could be the next Parkland shooter. We do not know.
Yeah, they were literally reading what he was saying. He was like, I vow to bring my M15 to school and kill 7 people. Like, that's literally what he wrote. And she's like, he wouldn't do that. And the cop was literally reading that in front of her. Like, this is exactly what he said. And we got to take this serious now. Like, and that's the thing. It's like, bruh, like, you can't be sitting up there as a mom, be like, he's such a sweetheart. He wouldn't do anything. But a sweetheart does not write that he's going to bring his M15 to school and kill 7 people.
Yeah. People don't just joke like that. Not people, who have all their, I don't know who's, yeah, people don't just say that just to say it. I don't even know who I'm describing, but like normal people don't just say that. And when they were like, well, do you have a gun, ma'am? Yes, but he wouldn't. Stop it.
That is wild. But I am happy that police are taking this more serious and are actually approaching folks and arresting folks for these things. I think even just that alone will stop them from happening, because now you're caught. We got your eye on you. Your parents are aware of this. We know your parents can be held responsible because we, made you aware of what your child was saying And, you know, now it's your duty as a parent to make sure you keep your eye on this person so innocent lives aren't lost. So, yeah, we need more of this kind of enforcement, of proactive enforcement, and taking these things seriously when these kids say these things on social media. Because that's the thing. It's like they do the shootings and then we go back and see all the, he said this on social media. Oh, he posted, you know, his guns with Trump and he wrote this manifesto, and like, yo, they put all the signs out there that they're about to shoot up a school or shoot up people, and we just ignored them. And no, we can't ignore them anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree. And so good job, law enforcement.
Yes, good job. Good job, law enforcement.
Well, we will give credit when it's due.
We will give credit when it's due. Well, I guess it's time to also give credit to the outcome of the Pantaleo case. The officer who put Eric Garner in a legal chokehold, and he was recently fired by the New York Police Department as a result of the chokehold. And so, you know, a lot of people are torn because they're happy that he was fired, but they also feel that he should have gotten criminal charges and jail time. As a result.
It took so long.
Yeah. I mean, that's because that union was behind him, and, you know, they're going to draw it out and use all the resources to fight it as best they could, which they did. You know, pretty much no criminal charges, but they couldn't, you know, the New York Police Department couldn't fire him until the case was finished. So that's the reason why he was still technically on the force. But they also took his pension away as well.
Well, child, people stepped up to fix that problem.
GoFundMe.
Raised nearly $100,000 in 2 days.
It's wild, man. I think the goal is $150,000. But it's just like where this country is at. Like, we're gonna help this man who didn't even do you're helping a man who didn't even do his job well. Like, he was a bad police officer. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did an illegal chokehold that wasn't part of protocol. He got fired for doing something illegal, right? It's not like he's this upstanding, amazing police officer, but y'all are just so pro-blue that you're still going to give this man money, even though his own police department fired him and took away his pension. Believe me, if they felt that he was a good police officer, he did his job, he would have still been on the force and he would have still had his pension. But y'all are going ahead and giving y'all man this money who is clearly not the best at his job.
Well, it just goes to show you, they are at $150,000 right now. They keep raising the goal. So, you know, I think it was like maybe 50 to begin with, and like they just keep raising it because now the goal is $250,000.
Okay, well, you know, this is, at least he got fired. At least he's no longer on the force. He doesn't have a pension, but now he's getting $150,000. So this is wild, man. Well, you know, to at least on the brighter side of things, as a response to these shootings and things along these lines, with police-involved shooting, I don't know if you saw what the California governor did.
No, what happened?
California Governor Gavin Newsom pretty much signed into law what is known as the Stephon Clark bill. And for those of you who don't remember, Stephon Clark was, I believe he was a teenager or a young man who got shot running from the police in his grandmother's backyard, where he was also unarmed. Remember that case?
Yeah.
And so now there was a big push after this incident happened, you know, by a lot of people in grassroots organizations, and it was finally signed into law, where now the Stephon Clark bill means that police can only kill. They changed the verbiage in the law where from reasonable, they can use deadly force when it was reasonable, to necessary. Okay. So that's been one of the biggest issues when trying to combat these cases legally, is that because reasonable is such a broad term, right? Like, could be like, yo, he flinched and that's enough to feel like my life was threatened, right? But just changing that word to necessary is a big step, because now the officers have to prove that the lethal force was in fact necessary. It's no longer off just an assumption of, he put his hand in his pocket, but did you see a gun, right? That makes it necessary. But just putting his hand in his pocket is reasonable. Pulling it out with nothing in his hand is necessary, right? So people are applauding this law. Of course, some people are still not happy with it because they still feel like it's some vague. But in the court of law, things like this does matter.
It makes
a huge difference when we want to prosecute somebody. So you can't just shoot somebody from running if you don't see a gun. So now, if an officer shoots somebody that's unarmed, it's going to be very difficult to say that this was necessary, especially if the person wasn't charging them, wasn't attacking them, right? You didn't see a weapon. Clearly, you didn't find a weapon, so nothing to see. And so it's going to make it difficult. And I think what this does for the law enforcement aspect is now it creates them to have more pause when they're in these interactions. When they can't just move at the drop of a dime, they actually have to make sure they see something in order for them to use lethal force. So,
that's good. And, I think, like you said, this is important when it comes to the courts, because I think what a lot of people don't realize is that when juries are given instructions, sometimes those instructions are so, I don't know, they're so narrow around like how things are defined and how they can interpret things. And this, I feel like it opens it up a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It does. Because if you're a jury and told reasonable, like I said, like somebody, they'll put you in the eyes of the officer and the defense will do that and say, hey, I have a gun pointed to him. He's not listening and he reaches in his pocket. Is that reasonable? Well, yeah, in the broad sense, it's reasonable because you don't know what that person has. But now that one term necessary is like, well, you can't say that's necessary to shoot somebody dead if you didn't actually see something.
Yeah.
And they also in the bill have encourage and expect police to first use de-escalation techniques before using lethal force as well.
That's
so good. It's also a beautiful thing because if you're shooting someone and within this new law and it goes to court and they show that you did not actually try to de-escalate it before you fired your weapon, you just automatically started firing, then you can be in a lot of trouble as well. So it's now just making the police officer do their job the way it's supposed to be done by putting it into law, and they can't use the law just saying I felt frightened or threatened anymore. You got to show proof now, buddy.
Did you see that Phoenix is also trying to, or just also recently implemented some reform around police officers?
No, I didn't see this, what they say.
So Phoenix police officers must now document every instance in which they point a gun at a person. And, they implemented this because they've been concerned about like aggressive policing tactics. So it's just kind of like, I think they're hoping that an officer will think a little bit more carefully now before they draw a gun, because every time that happens, they have to fill out a form and it will be reviewed by like an official to see like, I guess, was it necessary? But anytime a gun is drawn, someone will review the action behind it.
Okay, that's good. I mean, on the one end, it's like the officers have to report it themselves, so they can just still pull it and not report it. But yes, they can be in trouble if somebody else reported that they pulled a gun on them. So they kind of like they have to do it, but I feel like some are not going to do it. So I feel like, there needs to be like some kind of checks and balances where like, in this day and age, I feel like there needs to be something where like we can like, if we have an interaction with a police officer, maybe we can just like go on an app or something and report it, like badge number, and they can say, yes or no, would you like a write-up of the report he wrote? And then they would actually forward it to you or email it to you when it's written, So if there's anything that's quirky or not right, or it's just documented, period, so if there is a situation, people can go back and track what he or she has been writing and doing, or if it adds up, if they've been lying. Just that little form of accountability, I think, will just also help something like that be more legitimate too. Because just leaving the officers to police themselves on this is like, it sounds well, but I could see them pulling guns on folk and then just not writing a report on it. But I mean, it's still good that these actions are moving forward though, like in the conversation.
Yeah. And it's all because the public, we have to make our voices heard. We have to let officials know what we want. They're supposed to work for us, not the other way around.
The police have too much power, way too much. And, I guess one of the last things we talked to dealing with criminal justice too is that San Francisco's board has also put forth a proposal to like change the language of pretty much criminal justice language as far as how we label people who involved with the criminal justice system. So instead of using words like felon, offender, convict, parolee, they want to change the language that is described as people first language. So it kind of takes away the objectification and stigma associated with the language used in the past. So instead of like felon and offender, they want to say like returning resident or formerly incarcerated person, or instead of parolee, maybe a person under supervision, juvenile offender, youth person impacted by the justice system. So they're trying to take away like the words felon and convict now. They say
that's stigmatized.
Yeah. In a quote from why they said they're doing, they said language shapes the ideas, perceptions, belief, attitudes, and actions of individuals, societies, and governments. People first language places the individual before the criminal record by using neutral, objective, and non-pejorative language. So it's a proposal. It's not passed yet, but it's also good to see that they're even taking those kind of details seriously when it comes to just the language of how we think of folks who are involved in the system.
Yeah. This means that like it's a cultural shift that's happening. It's not going to happen swiftly, but when you see little things happening, across the country, you see a cultural shift that's happening. So that's good.
Yeah. So San Francisco, California overall, it looks like they're doing some good things out there for the system and protecting people from police. And, so California might become a little safer place for black folk when it comes to the criminal justice system.
Maybe so. If they can just afford to live.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, but glad to see all this change is happening. Anything else on the docket we want to talk about?
No, I feel like we covered quite a bit.
All right. Well, this is our 85th episode. We 15 episodes away from 100. That's what we're gonna do on the 100th episode.
Oh my goodness, it gotta be lit.
Yeah, we gotta think about this. We got 3 months or so, I guess, right? Yeah. About that 3.5 to think about what we'll do. We'll think about it. If y'all got suggestions too, shoot it our way. 100th episode.
Tell us what y'all think about like a greatest moments, like reflective thing.
That's a
like
good
give
one
us some
too.
ideas.
That's a good one too. Yeah. That give us some ideas. Yeah, we'll think about things and then see what we want to do. But we got 100 episodes. We got to celebrate that. 100 episodes without missing a week. Oh man.
And you guys do not understand the work that goes into making sure that we do not miss a week. But we love it.
Yeah, so. We're dedicated to this and I like that, having that, not missing a week, working towards that and making sure y'all get something from us each week. And so keep it up and we should appreciate all y'all support. And as a reminder, this is, next week. We're going back to the interviews. So we got a good slate of interviews lined up for the fall, really, but definitely for the September. And, we'll break that news next week's episode. So make sure you're tuning in with our first episode of next week. And it's pretty big guests we got coming on next week. So be ready to tune in for that. And it was fun to talk to them.
Yes.
Other than that, go ahead and if you haven't yet, follow us on social media at BHD Podcast. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also visit our website, blackandhighlydangerous.com, to keep up with all our latest content. Email us, bhdpodcast@gmail.com, with any ideas, especially some ideas and suggestions for what we should do for our 100th episode, because we're nearing that, 15 episodes away. So let's have some fun with that. Tell us what we can do. And then after you go ahead, email us, go ahead, rate and review us if you haven't did that yet on iTunes, because that really, really, really helps us out. And after you review and rate us, go ahead and share us with your friends, share us with your family, share us with your enemies, and as always, continue to be the oppressor's worst fear.
If you're interested in continuing this and other conversations, visit our website, blackandhighlydangerous.com, to subscribe to our email list, suggest topics, and participate in our discussion forums.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at BHD Podcast. And please don't forget to subscribe and rate our podcast on your favorite platform. And as always, continue to be the oppressor's worst fear.